Hi, this is the Business Guy, and today we're going to talk about the new variant, the new COVID variant. It's called Omicron. It was identified last week, and we're going to talk about how it's going to affect your money. The stock market had quite a dip on last Friday because of the fears from this Omicron variant, and so let's go ahead and talk about it and what some ideas and some of the reactions I've seen in the news, and we'll talk about the vaccines, and I actually have a science degree, and I was in the vaccine industry for a number of years, and so kind of have an insight on that. So talk about things that I have expertise on, and also how it affects your money and your business. So let's go ahead and talk about that. So this was a variant identified last week in South Africa. It says in the Wall Street Journal, it's really rattled officials in the U.S. and around the world. U.S. Joined other nations in imposing restrictions on some travelers from South Africa, as you probably know, to slow the variant spread. And U.S. health officials acknowledge that's what's going on now. And then President Biden said today that his administration was working with officials at Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson to develop a contingency plan for vaccines or boosters in case this thing becomes a real problem, and if they need to combat the Omicron variant. And Biden said that now officials not sure if those measures will be needed. And yes, so by the way, if you appreciate this information being boiled down so it's easy to understand, please click the like button below for the YouTube algorithm, so YouTube will promote this video. Thank you for that. And if you like this video, click subscribe so you can see more videos like this one. My videos will tend to show up in your YouTube feed more often. It'll remind you to watch them, and if you enjoy it, subscribe. We'd love to have you. Like I say, or if you just need a friend, click subscribe, and I'd be glad to have you as part of the Business Guy family. So this is the concern. This is the Omicron variant here, and you can see in South Africa how the beta and the delta variants spread. Okay, and you can see how this new variant, the Omicron variant, has really taken off to become the dominant strain there in a very short number of days, much shorter than the number of days that it took for the other variants to spread. So very rapidly spreading, and so we're not sure about the symptoms, or we're not sure if it's going to if the vaccine is going to work on it as like the current vaccines, or if they're going to have to resequence this messenger RNA vaccines. So we're also going to talk about the vaccine here in a little bit, and but I'll give you some information if you're think the vaccine is a good idea, if you think it's a bad idea. I'm going to give you my perspective on it from somebody who's been in that industry. And what a lot of the talk is, pharmaceutical companies are greedy and the doctors are greedy. No. Sure, they're into making a profit and all that kind of stuff. But when I was in the industry, I noticed the academics in the industry they're all about being respected by their peers, and they were like being baited by the financial part was like beneath them. They're above that. That was kind of the attitude they portrayed, and it was real, because I actually would take some of these speakers, some of the high-level infectious disease speakers from like the East Coast, and I'd fly them to California, and I would be in charge of a doctor's convention where these speakers would come in, and I would actually fly them in to talk to the other doctors. And the academia part of the industry, pharmaceutical industry, is very integrous, and sure, there's the greedy thoughts that people portray on Facebook and so on, but in reality, I found it's for the most part, they're all about doing the right thing for people, and being respected by their peers is way up here in priority, where the financial part is less, believe it or not. And that's from the inside, not some Facebook blah blah blah. This is from what I personally experienced. Very respectable. It's for the benefit of society and so on. Sure, there's a financial part too, but I found when the rubber meets the road, it's caring about people. Anyway, moving on. I say that, and some people who are so convinced it's otherwise, I can't convince those kind of people. But Biden said this variant is a cause for concern, but not a cause for panic. The new variant seems to spread very quickly, says Tulo Oliveira, the director of South Africa's Centers Epidemic Response and Innovation, and a genetics researcher. And he said also genetic sequencing showed it carried a large number of troubling mutations. Now, that's the thing is, if somebody doesn't get vaccinated, they may say, well, it doesn't affect me because I'm young. Well, that's kind of like the guy in the red SUV who smashed into all those people, thinking, oh, it doesn't affect me. Because what happens is, if you get the virus, you now become a host. And when these viruses duplicate and replicate, most of the errors in the replication are harmful to the virus, but 1 out of 1,000,000 or so are beneficial to it and helps it to become stronger, easier to spread, and so on, and maybe even more deadly. So the key thing is everybody is a host. They can host this thing if they're unvaccinated especially, and the viruses multiply and can mutate just by errors in the duplication process. And those duplications, those errors can sometimes be beneficial to the virus and make it spread easier. So it's not just about you or me. It's about how we are acting as a host, as a vehicle this virus can get into and spread and mutate to society at large as well. So that's something to think about. It's not just about somebody who's 26 and thinks they don't need it, but it's about that 26-year-old being a vehicle that the virus jumps into and multiplies and replicates and mutates, and then they have a new variant that spreads around the world. So that's the problem with the anti-vaccine people who think it's just all about them. It's about society as a whole. My opinion, my perspective, I'm not trying to convince anybody. We're about business here. Drug makers raise the prospect that an existing COVID-19 vaccine may be less effective against the new Omicron variant of the coronavirus, which could create a need for a modified vaccine that better targets the new strain. Jack Dorsey this is just other business news. Jack Dorsey stepped down as CEO of Twitter, but that's kind of off subject. Let's go ahead and go back to the iPad here. So this is a joke here. So anyway, I guess the key thing is, so here's the whole virus that jumps into our body. These spike proteins are what attach to our cell and inject all this messenger RNA through the portal into our cell. And when it gets in there, it duplicates itself inside of our cells. Our cell's probably going to be like, something like this size. Like this size, okay, and then once it gets in, it duplicates itself and then spits out a whole bunch of these viruses, a whole bunch of these things. It replicates itself inside of our cells, whereas the vaccine just puts this part right here into our cell. So somebody says, "Well, I'm concerned about the side effects of the vaccine." Well, unless somebody's a hermit, living on an island by themselves, they're either going to get the vaccine or they're going to get the virus. Those are the odds. Most likely they're going to get the virus or they're going to get the vaccine. So if somebody's worried about the side effects, well, the thing that's in the virus that they're probably going to get if they're unvaccinated is also in the vaccine. So if they're worried about the side effects of the vaccine, which is this little part right here, well, they're going to get it anyway when they get the virus because it includes this. And it's like somebody saying, well, I'm allergic to crab meat, right? I'm allergic to crab meat, so I only eat soft shell crab. Well, hate to break the news to you, but if you eat soft shell crab, there's meat. The crab meat is in it. It's like, well, I don't want to get the vaccine because of the side effects. Well, you're going to get the virus anyway, which includes the part that is put into you when you get the vaccine. So you're going to get the side effects anyway. If you're going to get the side effects, but you're going to get also things that could kill you. So my perspective, okay, just my perspective. This is a business channel. This isn't a medical channel. But if somebody's resisting the vaccine, but what the studies show is that the vaccine resistors. It's not about head knowledge and knowing right and wrong or all that kind of stuff or knowing how it works. It's about my rights and my freedom, and nobody's going to tell me what to do. It's that kind of thing. Well, you know, it might be time, if somebody is still anti-vax, I'm not trying to convince you, but maybe I am a little bit, but it might be time to, you know, to say, okay, if you get the virus, it's forced on you, forcibly. It's forced on you, right? You're not going out there trying to catch the virus. So you have a choice if you want to get the vaccine. So you can make that choice. So nobody's forcing it on you around here, like really like holding you down and jabbing it in you. So you can choose to get the vaccine by your personal freedom, or you can have the vaccine, the virus forced on you. So either get the vaccine by personal choice, your right to choose, if you're one of those, you know, it's my rights people, or, you know, get the virus forced on you that could cause some really bad things. Case in point, I had one of my employees just a few months ago, really close to him. He got the COVID virus. He was a physician and an attorney, and he worked, he was one of my employees. He died from COVID. 22 days from first symptoms to death. 60-year-old guy, 60-year-old guy, very, very healthy. In fact, you can see him, Howard Jordan. He's you just type that in our YouTube channel, you can see him being interviewed. He's the one who died. Love the guy. He was just a positive bubble, encouraging to everybody here, but dead. It was tough, ripped my heart out. So anyway, the key thing is, you know, I don't want to live like this anymore and that kind of stuff. Well, it's better to live in reality than the way we wish it was. You know, reality says we got this potentially deadly thing traveling around the world. We should not stick our head in the sands and live like we wish it would be. We need to live like it really is and face it one step at a time, right? Somebody throws a baseball at your head, you don't just stand there and say, oh, well, I'm sick of these baseballs being thrown on my head. The last one's, you know, smashed my face. I'll just let the next one. No, you every time something comes at you, you fight it. So the same thing. This virus mutates and changes. We got to live with it, and we got to fight it every single time. We don't just lay down and like a dead fish floating down the river. We need to keep fighting and doing what it takes to survive, right, as a society and individuals, and protect the weak members of society and do our part. My opinion, getting the jab is one of them, and when the new variant comes out, if there's a jab that's going to protect you from that, protect society as a whole, just my opinion. Anyway, how it affects your money, we don't know. How's this going to affect your money? I don't know. The stock market went down Friday. It went up Monday. And so whether this is going to affect us long term has yet to be seen. But anyway, that's my insight, my perspective, what's going on in the news today. And I hope you enjoyed this. Wish you all the best, and hope you had a wonderful, wonderful holiday and the ones upcoming. So just care about you, want you to be informed and up to date and healthy and financially successful. That's what the Business Guy is all about. Please click like, subscribe, and if you want to see more videos like this one, appreciate you watching. This is the Business Guy.